Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us for our regular live session, Wednesday, November 3rd. Welcome. We're joining different people from different groups from all across the internet, November 3rd, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, when we do our regular Q&A session for JQK Law, talking about immigration law. So I'm getting all the recording started. I'll do another intro for those just tuning in right now. Everyone, welcome to the JQK live Q&A session, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where you take your questions and go over all that's going on. I'm realizing my comments on TikTok are not working. I don't know how to turn those on. Is there a special thing we have to do on that? Let's see, comments. No, it looks like it's on TikTok. So, okay, so it's all working out. So we're here taking live questions every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Just shoot them out here on different YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. It's not Twitter, LinkedIn is there, but also TikTok. So we're going to take your educational questions, but just to let you know, those tuning in, we do provide a raffle for free video consultations, 15-minute video consultations for those watching the live show. All you need to do is post consultation, write that in to the comments, and what happens is you also need to like and subscribe where you're watching. And then every 10 minutes or so, we'll name a person off. So you get 3 different people getting free consultations. But with that, let's get it started. Thanks, everyone. Sorry for it to be a little bit disorganized at the beginning. Some TikTok's not working and stuff. On my end it is. But I'll jump in on the questions and I answer those TikTok ones. And you could get the rest. So we'll just jump into questions right now. We have one on TikTok that says, I'm studying political science to be an immigration lawyer. Good job, Icebot. God bless. Bruce TV says, sir, any asylum news cases I've been waiting for 7 years. So have you been waiting 7 years for an affirmative asylum case? Now, just to let you know, my office doesn't handle asylum cases, but it's typical for asylum cases to take many, many years because they're so backed up, and it's just getting worse and worse. With the crisis that's going on the southern border, a lot of the officers that typically do the asylum officers are now working with the border, and the immigration courts themselves are so backed up. So if you're doing what's called a defensive asylum, that's backed up just as much, could take years. 7 years is pushing it. That's the longest I've ever heard someone be pending an asylum case. But that's it. I can't, give advice on your unique or individual case. But that sucks that you're waiting that long to get an asylum case going, unfortunately. So hopefully that situation worked out soon so you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. So, there are a lot of delays going on in the immigration system. But we'll talk about in a second. Jordan 8350 has a question. Jordan asks, hey, can I change to another non-immigrant visa or immigrant visa while I'm on a J1 2-year home residency requirement? So, let's back it up what a J1 2-year home residency requirement is. A J1 is called the foreign exchange or a cultural exchange visa, but it's much broader than that. There's a lot of different kinds of activities that could happen on J1. But one of the things is some J1s, depending on what they're doing in the United States, are subject to a 2-year home residence requirement, where the U.S. wants you to go back to your home country and share the information for a period of 2 years about the stuff you learn in the United States and share with your people before you re-enter the United States. If you have that requirement, you cannot get an immigrant visa. Immigrant visa is a green card unless you get a waiver of the 2-year home residence requirement. Now, it is possible to get a non-immigrant visa. Those are temporary visas, but some of them, for example, you're not allowed to get an H or an L visa if you're subject to this. You may be able to get an O or F1 or something like that, but you cannot do change of status. You have to go outside the U.S., apply for a visa interview, do a visa appointment, get a new visa approved, then re-enter. So when you have that 2-year requirement, no immigrant visas, no H's or L's, and no change of status possible. A change of status is when you're already in the United States and you want to go from one visa category to another. In the case of a person with a J1 2-year home residence requirement, they can't do that in the United States for those categories they can apply for. They have to leave, do a visa interview, and then come back. And that's going to postpone the ability to accumulate a 2-year home residence requirement as well. So there's a lot to look into there. You should probably talk with immigration in private to see what's going on there, to plan it out much better, because eventually you might have the opportunity to get a work visa like an H or an L or an immigrant visa, and you want to see what to do about that and potentially get it waived. So thank you for your question, Jordan. Thanks again for coming on the show. Tanya, yes, good evening, Attorney Khosravi. Hope you had a great week. Thank you. Same to you. I'm still waiting on my interview letter from NBC. I got documentarily qualified in March 2020. Party date December 2013. Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica. Yeah, unfortunately, it's sad to see that Jamaica is not moving the cases forward. I've seen some embassy visa appointments happen, but for immigrant, non-immigrant visas, for O1s, for athletes and stuff like that. But I don't have direct knowledge of anything recent in the last 2 years with going to Jamaica. I've had a case there, but that's pretty wild that they're not scheduling interviews. Uh, you know, there's a thing you have to know how to get to it, but if you type in Department of State visa statistics and you check out the statistics for your category in the embassy in Jamaica to see if they're even issuing these kind of visas, it might be helpful to see what's going on. So you have to go to Google, type in Department of State, visa statistics, press the right links to get down to it to see if they're even processing. Maybe contact the embassy if you think they are to see what's going on, because that's a long time to have to wait. But thank you for your question. Thanks for coming on the show again. Muhammad has, hi, 120 days have gone and I've finished my marriage interview in Chatsworth. No RFE, no decision. What should I do? Well, you can write a letter to the officer. Write a letter to the officer in Chatsworth and say, hi, I had a visa appointment more than 120 days ago. Please let me know what's going on. And maybe call the USCIS hotline too to try to keep pushing it. It's not good. I'd have to review your case. I'm not even sure you should do that yet. First, you need to contact an immigration attorney so they can see if they could spot any issues by reviewing your file. So I can't give individual legal guidance. I need to review your case first. So you should really talk to the lawyer to see if there's an issue, because you don't want to like push them and get a denial notice. Maybe an attorney could spot the issue and help fix it before they make a decision. So you should talk with the immigration lawyer first, but probably if your case is clean, writing a letter and calling them up and all that kind of stuff's the thing to do. But we need to know what's going on exactly with your case before we go that far. Irene says, consultation. Can I do a B2 extension, then apply for SOA? Apply for, I'm not sure what SOA is. So please verify that. So I don't know, Irene. A lot of immigration lawyers don't do initials per se. So I don't know what a SOA is. Let me know what that is and we'll follow up the question. Angelica asks, how long does the marriage interview take and how long do I wait? Marriage interviews, it varies. If you have a very clean case and the officer doesn't want to ask too many questions, it's going to be half an hour to an hour. You might be waiting in the waiting room half an hour to an hour. This is if you're doing adjustment of status. You can wait 2-3 hours for your interview for adjustment of status. And then once it's done, they could prove it then. They could prove it a month later. We just had a question for someone who said they've been waiting for 4 months. So there's no proper answers. Just the average is like, waiting an hour in the waiting room, an hour interview, and approval a few days later. But that could be different, wildly different. That's why it's like, doesn't really matter what the averages are. It really depends on what's going on in your case. Elaine asked, does a legal entry delete the illegal entry we have in the past? Not necessarily. It depends on what you're trying to do. That's just too complex a question because there could be so many variations on that. For example, if you had a legal entry now, you should have applied for a visa. In the visa application, it asks if you've ever, violated status. And if you lied there and didn't tell them, then you have a new issue. You have misrepresentation. That's even a bigger problem. If you did tell them, usually they'll deny your visa. So I don't know there. But let's say you did tell them and it was okay. If you come in the U.S. and marry a green card holder and apply for a green card, then that violation is going to be a problem. They want to prove your case because you have past violations. But if you're applying based on a work visa, EB1, 2, or 3, then there's a thing called 245K that makes an exception, which fixes that, as well as if you're married to a U.S. citizen. So there's just different layers of complexity involved here to be answered this question. So I really recommend talking with a lawyer in private to see what you're trying to do and if you did misrepresentation or not, because it's just too complex to be able to answer. But thank you for your question. Feed Your Faith asks, good evening, Mr. John. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate that. God bless you. Is it okay to travel internationally without my wife while waiting for a marriage immigrant visa interview overseas? The reason is for my mother's B-Day. There's just, again, there's a lot of these cool things that fact. So if you're a U.S. person, then I don't see, if you're a citizen or a green card holder, you could do whatever you want to do. I'm not sure what's the problem. So that there's just too many stuff I need to know. The way the questions worded, I won't be able to answer that because there's gaps of information there about who the person is traveling, what their status in the United States, did they overstay, there's just too much going on. So it's too specific to be able to advise that without talking with you privately. Angelica asks, how long do I get the work permit during the marriage interview? I'm waiting for the interview. How long do I get the work permit during the marriage interview? You didn't word your question right. I'm not sure what that means. How long do I get the work permit during the marriage interview? Um, a green card is a work permit. So if a green card is approved, then that's good. When the work permit is coming, taking like 10 or 11 months right now, you might have your interview beforehand. But I'm not sure if I'm answering your specific question because it's just not worded well enough for me to answer it. But thank you for asking. We have a next question. Tanya says, "Thank you, appreciate it. You're welcome." Irene Gray says, "Oh, adjustment of status." So Irene's original question was, see, oh wait, what was that question that Irene asks? Can I do a B2 extension then apply for adjustment of status? Well, that's complex because if you're filing for a B2 extension, you're saying you're going to stay temporarily. But then if you go and file for adjustment, then you're saying you want to stay. So it might look like some immigration fraud or misrepresentation going there. So you really need to talk with the immigration attorney in private to see what the basis of your extension, I'm sorry, of your adjustment is, if you even need to bother filing for an extension, how the timing of all that's going to work. It's too case specific for me to answer here. So I'll just advise you to talk with the immigration attorney in private. A quick note I do want to make is for those interested in the marriage green card process, I do have a guide called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's the best book out there that goes over the immigration process for people doing fiancés and marriage green card cases. Please go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. You're going to be blown away by the amount of information there. It's really going to help you figure out what's going on and then give you the guidance you need to be able to properly consult with an attorney before you go talk with them and to kind of make sure they're kind of following what's going on with standard procedure. So I hope that book helps out. So I think we got a couple more questions popping up. YH asks, sir, let's say I sponsor my mother through an I-130, and after she gets green card, she files for a single adult son. What will be the impact to the son's case if my parent makes many overseas trips or in a reentry? Okay, so if you have a green card, let's separate you from the case. You say your mother has a green card, and they apply for their child. A lot of trips overseas is okay. Eventually, there's two issues if you have a green card. You're not supposed to be living outside the United States. So you need to maintain residence here in different ways. Now, a lot of travel is one thing, not living in the U.S. is another. We got to figure out how we can show that. And then later on, there's a requirement called the domicile requirement when the embassy phase starts for your brother. And for that, you got to show your domicile in the United States. So really, this is case specific again. I need to know exactly what's going on in your mom's life, what kind of life she has here, what kind of life she has overseas, how long her stays are overseas, and just the whole picture. It's just too case specific to be able to answer here. That's about it. So we're reaching the 10-minute mark. So I do want to announce our winner, Feed Your Faith. You had asked a question, which I couldn't really advise on because there's too many specific stuff I needed to know. If you like, just send me an email with a screenshot of the show that shows your screen name so I know it's you. And email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com. So I could give you a link and give you information on how to schedule a private consultation, 15-minute video consultation. So we go into this a little more detail. Well, thank you for watching. For those just tuning in, we have 2 more free video consultations to give away. All you need to do is like and subscribe wherever you're watching this, and then just make a comment saying consultation, so I know you're interested in having a consultation, the free video consultation, and we'll take it from there. But let's go back to the questions. M. Marashi asks, it's been 2 months. We've done our interview I-485 on marriage based, still no answers. So yeah, Marashi, I already answered this question earlier for a person who waited 120 days. I need to know the details of your case before I would tell you to do anything with the wife. And so I don't know, but then you follow up and say, the officer said, maybe I need your ex-wife's death certificate, but nothing yet, please. Well, yeah, you should have brought the death certificate. That's mandatory to show that the previous relationships have ended. The officer's taking a while to respond. I can't give advice. Normally what I'll do is if I know the case, I'll mail a letter to the officer and ask if I can help them and stuff like that. But I can't advise you anything until I know the details of your case. But definitely consult an attorney in private to check out what's going on. But missing the death certificate is a reason by itself for delaying the case because they need to send you an RFE for it. It's something you should have brought to the interview. And you should have submitted with the original application. Mohammed asks, can I do mandamus about my case? Thank you, sir. Mohammed, that's like, yes, such a general kind of question. I don't know. You should consult with an immigration in your private. That's just not something I could talk about here without knowing everything about your case. I don't follow mandamus cases, so I can't help you in my firm. But it's not something I can answer just like that. So definitely consult an attorney in private. Mohammed says, good evening in New York. God bless you. Good to see you. I applied for I-751 in May 2020, still waiting on my permanent green card. Yeah, these cases for removal of conditions, the 2-year requirement for green cards, for marriage-based green cards, takes a while. It could easily be, another year even. So 2 years is, I see those happen all the time. So you just need to wait a little longer to see what's going on. Tony Murray says, hi, John. Hi, good to see you. 21 of our regulars. Good to hear from you. It follows up with a question. When USCIS sends your approval to the National Visa Center, where is it? It's about to pop up in a second so viewers could see as well. Tony asks, when the USCIS sends approval to the NVC, National Visa Center, does the National Visa Center email or mail the attorney the receipt? Do we get the receipt copies as well? So it's not a receipt, it's a welcome letter, but the National Visa Center gets an approved I-130 case from USCIS. They email the applicant, but they CC the lawyer as well. I've recently had it multiple times where they put my email address wrong, so I did not get the notification myself. So you will get it, your attorney get it if they put the email addresses right. So be careful of that happening. But yeah, you should all be getting it technically. But snafus and mishaps do happen. Going back, Iron says, sorry, me adjustment of status. Can I extend my B2 extension, then apply for adjustment of status? Also, can I apply for the I-130 and staff is support to follow? I-130 affidavit support had to happen with or before the adjustment of status, but Irene, this is too case specific. I would need to have a private consultation with you or talk to the lawyer in private to do this properly because there's just issues that could pop up. So it's I wouldn't be able to answer this case specific question. 29 Super C, a regular asks, good night, Attorney Khosravi. Good to hear from you. You are seated this time. You look better than last week. Thank you. How can we find out what documented qualified dates an embassy is working on for each IB category? You can't. They don't really share that information that I know of. So unfortunately, there's no way that I know of you could check to see which cases they're working on. It's just bad news, really. You just got to wait. Hello World asks, hello, we just got married. Congratulations. Don't have any joint documents. Can we send only a marriage certificate with the I-130 as bona fides and bring more joint documents at the interview? Well, you can. Some lawyers do it that way. Probably many lawyers just submit the marriage certificate. My practice, I don't do that. I wait if it's appropriate, if you have the time, I'll wait to get some joint documents. I don't like to send marriage petitions in without some joint documents in. So I strongly recommend you have some. I'm sure you could pull some together in a short amount of time. If you got married, you've obviously been in love. So there's got to be something. So it's up to you what to do. I don't recommend it, but I need to know more about your case and your background. But I don't like to submit without joint documents, but some lawyers do. Mohammed follows up. Good evening. I applied for I-75 in May. Yeah, we already answered that, unfortunately. But you have to wait. But you can apply for U.S. citizenship if you're still at the I-751 stage. You don't need to wait for the I-751 to be approved. You can file for citizenship while that's pending if you meet the requirements for citizenship. IO asks, when can you file the I-485 if your I-130 is pending since February this year and you are married to a 10 years green card holder, both live in the United States? Well, the timeline for filing based on marriage to a green card holder has been current for over a year. So you could file the I-130 and I-485 together. So I'm not sure why you waited for this long since February. You should have done it a long time ago, but now we have to see whether you can file for adjustment status, whether you have any inadmissibility issues or violations that could create problems for the I-485 filing. But unfortunately, the delay in filing was unneeded. You could file both of them together if it's case appropriate for a green card marriage case for adjustment status. Dino asks, what's next after the embassy interview? Husband or resident in U.S. I'm Italian. Any tips for the interview? I mean, I can't give any tips because really just, I don't know your case scale to say what to watch out for. But after the interview is done, if the case is appropriate, they approve it and they give you a visa. If it's not, they may give you an explanation of what's going on, how to fix it, or they deny it. That's next. But it really depends on your individual case. Most cases, just getting a visa and coming to the United States and also paying for the visa fee before coming in is best. Cal asks, my asylum-based green card is pending since 2000. since 2 years, 2002. Are there any options to expedite the case? Um, are you saying it's been pending for 2 years or for since 2002? If it's since 2002, you need to get congressional help and file a lawsuit. But if it's been 2 years, that's kind of pushing it. I would need to review the case first, but potentially contacting USCIS, contacting the USCIS ombudsman, contacting congressional rep, and eventually file a lawsuit might be the way to go. But we got to see what's going on in your case. And to be clear with your question, because you say, 2 years, is it 2002 or 2 years? Not clear. Sometimes cases take 2 years, so it's not that bad, but you need to start contacting USCIS many times if it's taking that long. Okay. You follow up to 2 years. Yeah, contact USCIS, see what's going on with the delay. Ali Sayed asked, hello, is medical interfile for your adjustment appointment, is it a good decision? So you're saying you have an adjustment status that's pending, you haven't submitted the medical checkup with the application, and you just want to mail it into USCIS. Most attorneys will tell you it's not a good idea to send the medical because it may get lost and never reach its destination. We usually wait for USCIS to request it, and they'll send a paper with a barcode that you should mail it into. You could try doing it if you want to, but if it gets lost, then you have to do the medical over again and pay the money again. I don't see that much of a rush, so I generally wait until we get a notice from USCIS asking us to submit it. So I would wait, but yeah, I don't know your case. I don't know the urgency of it, so I don't want to advise without knowing more information. Okay, next question. Ramazan asks, good evening. How long does it take after sending the I-693? There's no timelines. It takes however long USCIS wants it to take. Flog asks, how long for a work permit after marriage? Well, marriage itself does not entitle you work permit, so that's just not going to happen. If you're in the United States and you file for adjustment of status, you could file form I-765 work permit C9 category. Average is taking 8 to 10 months after filing. Could be more, could be less. But just getting married is not a way to get a work permit. Asif asked, form I-485 and I-765 status is updated 41 days ago. Biometrics was done till now, no updates. Yeah, that's just got to wait. Don't expect to update so quickly. 41 days is nothing in immigration time. Malik asked, F2A category. This is either a spouse of a green card holder or a minor child of the green card holder. Party date November 2019. Waiting for interview. Can I adjust my status for paying extra fee? If you have to be in the United States to adjust status and pay the fees, whether you can do so or not, I need some more information and what's going on with your case. So I wouldn't want to give you advice. It might lead to some misrepresentation or fraud issues or stuff like that. So you need to consult with an immigration private to see what's going on and take it from there. So now we have Ali says, thank you for your answer. Asif says, thank you. God bless Sophie. Thank you. We have a question pop up. 29 Super C. Okay. Abu Duain says, hi. I'm in status after concurrently filing I-140 and I-485. Can I travel again? Well, it depends. If you have a valid H-1B or an L visa or advanced parole, you may be able to travel if they're valid. If you're not doing I can't tell you. This is case specific stuff, so I can't advise someone to do something and then come back later and say, hey, you told me this without knowing anything but your screen name on the internet. So if someone has a case adjustment status case pending, this is how the general rule is. You're not allowed to leave the United States unless you have a valid H visa, an L visa, or advanced parole. There's another category V or something like that, or K3 or something, but I'm not going to go into because I can't remember. No one uses those. So it's I'll just say H1B, not any kind of H, but an H1B, an L, or advanced parole. If you don't have those, if you travel, your case gets abandoned, so you don't want to do that. Now, in some cases, if you travel, you may not be able to come back in. So I need to know about your background. Have there been any arrests? Are you going to a part of the world that's problematic? The COVID travel bans are ending in a week, so that's not a problem. But if you had gone to Europe, you would have been stuck there under the current travel ban system for COVID-19. So I can't advise whether you could travel again until I know everything about your case, your background, where you're going, what you're doing, all this kind of stuff. But that was the general rule that was involved. But thank you for your question. Thanks for watching again, Abiodun. Osner asked, my wife filed the I-130 petition for me since 2020, November 2020. Until no answer, she was a U.S. citizen. Do you think it takes too long? No, that's just normal timeline. Hello, follows up. Thank you. How long will it take now in LA to get an EAD and interview? Marriage B2 with LPR in US. It could take 6 months. It could take 2 years. For the work permit, 8 to 10 months. But for the interview, 6 months to 2 years average. Io ask, so since the I-130 is current, we can file I-485. What other applications do we need? Uh, and after the support marriage, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. That really goes over it. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It goes over what forms are needed, but it really is better to consult with an attorney. If you're asking me this right now on the show, that means there's a lot of research you got to do. It's probably best to talk with an immigration attorney and go through it with them. um, that's about it. Especially because you could have filed the I-485 already. I'm not sure what your current existing status is. There's a lot going on that could be troublesome in your case, so you really need to talk with the attorney in private about this. So I do want to announce our winner for the free consultation raffle. It's Irene Grace. Irene, thank you so much. If you're still watching, take a screenshot of where you're watching this, and so I see your username, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. And I'll send you information about scheduling a private video consultation. If you're just tuning in to the live show, not recorded of this, the live show, you could get one more chance at a free raffle, free video consultation raffle for this show. Just keep watching, press like and subscribe, and write consultation in the comment. And about 8 minutes or so, my wonderful assistant Katrina will name a person's name, and I'll announce the winner of the last free video consultation winner, a third one, a 15-minute video consultation, so you get so we can sit and talk in private. Because a lot of this stuff, as you see, we can't really go into detail without knowing all the info on the case. I can just provide general educational material. But thanks for asking questions. We have our next one popping up. Bobbag asks, I live in Virginia, so I sent my I-130 to Texas. I received 2 letters, one from Texas, one from California Service Center, but the processing timeline of Texas are different. Which one should I follow? You shouldn't follow any of them because the timelines are not reliable, so don't even bother even looking at that. If you submitted your case properly and you got case notices, just wait and to get it. But I wouldn't bother checking processing times and following that. It's a waste of time. Go have fun. Go out to the beach. Virginia Beach, I heard is good, although it's probably freezing right now. But just have a good time and don't waste your time on that kind of stuff. I ask, I'm F1 doing OPT and ending in 2 years. My wife just applied for citizenship. That's good. You maintain status IO, but yeah, you need to submit all the paperwork. You could have done so in February, but just do it now and just get it in, just in case you fall out of status or something like that. Or you can wait longer. Wife citizenship, it'll take longer. So it really is whatever way you want to do it and plan it out. But both options may be possible for you. So, I mean, let me break down kind of what the worries I have in this kind of case is. And we don't have to worry here because IO stays in status. But if you marry a green card holder in the United States, for example, you're a student visa holder and you marry a green card holder, not a citizen. To be able to apply for adjustment of status, you have to maintain status, be on some active status. But let's say you go to school, the school messes up and you fall out of status, you stop going to school, you go out of status. That could be a violation and prevent you from being able to adjust status. So to prevent something like that from happening, you want to file for adjustment of status as soon as possible to cover you. For example, I see this all the time. People are on a student visa, properly going to school. They graduate and they file for OPT because on F1 student visas, you can go to and do at least 1 year of work after graduating to get work experience. But when they submit the paperwork, Form I-765 plus the updated I-20 and school records, all this kind of stuff, they have errors pop up. They submit the paperwork too soon, too late. They're missing something, and it ends up getting denied. And all of a sudden, they think everything's fine, but they're out of status. And since they're out of status at that point, even if they're married to a green card holder, they can't file for adjustment of status any longer. Now, if they're married to a U.S. citizen, it'll be okay. And in this case, citizenship will be coming up sometime. But if they're not, then it becomes really problematic. So we really want them to file for adjustment of status as soon as possible if you're married to a green card holder, just to get the case in, to avoid problems from happening. But that's the main issue I'm worried about there. But we have to know other issues that could pop up. If there's previous status violations, you can't adjust status when you're married to a green card holder, but you can when you're married to a U.S. citizen. So there's a lot of things we got to look at and make sure it's on the up and up to prevent problems from happening. Now, we do have questions popping up about timelines. If you have a visa case, processing is going to go through, brother sister case or any other preference category case. Go check the visa bulletin to see what the timelines are. I can't answer those here. It's easy enough for you to go to the visa bulletin. Just type in visa bulletin on Google, and the Department of State website will come up with the timelines. You cannot expedite those timelines on the visa bulletin. And when your actual interview is going to happen, even if you are current, is unknown to me, unknown to the embassy, really. And so many of these cases are backlogged. So I'm going to announce the winner. Ayo, thank you so much for listening. If you're still on, take a screenshot of where you're watching this and email me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you information on scheduling a private video consultation where we can take it from there. I think with that, we're hitting the 30-minute mark of recording. We'll call it a day today. I'll see you all next week, 6 p.m. Pacific time, as always, Wednesdays. And we'll take your questions and talk, U.S. immigration. I have another show popping up. It'll probably be posted very soon with my associate, Anya Sergiva. We're going to go through a lot of immigration stuff as well. So we have another program we're going to be seeing. We're going to put a lot of content out there to help guide you in this process and kind of relieve some of your tensions if possible, hopefully not add more to it. But with that, thank you, everyone. God bless, be safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.